Get that water out of the goddamn huddle. I tell you when you get a fucking water break.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is September 1st, 2019. 7 days to kick off. It is here. And Thursday night starts the season.
Okay, I'm just going to alt you right now and say Ralph had to Google how many days it was until September 8th.
Yeah. Well, you could say 6, technically. Whatever.
This
is the last...
No, you can't. It's math. This
is the last Sunday before football for the rest of our lives.
I know. Until February.
No. That's when I go into hibernation.
Yeah, Green Bay and Chicago play Thursday night.
Kicks off the season, week 1.
Should be a good game. Interesting.
We play Sunday against the 49ers at Raymond James Stadium, and then we go to Carolina 4 days later and play them on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah. I'm so excited. We get games back to back.
Back to back to back. And these are big games, too. We're playing up against 49ers with Quan Alexander at home. We need to win that one. They're a beatable team. And then we go to the Panthers, and we play them with he who shall not be named. Voldemort. And we need to play well in there. So, boom, bam, beam.
It's very exciting. We had our fantasy draft last night. Guess who Ralph drafted? Matt Gay.
Yes, he did.
I told him to change his team name to something like Gay for You. Something like that.
Yeah, I was going to be like,
gay.
My kicker's gay. I think he's going to do well. He's going to score some points this year. He's got a leg on him, so.
Yeah, and especially from that range, you get more points the further out it is.
Mm-hmm.
Smart pickup. If I had thought about it for 3 seconds, that might have done it too.
Well, I didn't say a thing to you until after I did it.
I didn't even look at anything draft related until 6 o'clock, and our draft was at 7.
And that's why you don't win.
I don't need to win. You win, and then we split the money.
Half.
It goes into that joint bank account.
Half. Eddie, half. So we had a game Thursday night against the Dallas Cowboys. We didn't do a podcast because the game was until, 11:30?
Yeah.
So it was late. So we figured, well, we'll do one Friday. Molly came home for lunch. And then we thought, oh, wait a minute. They're going to have cuts in a little while. So we'll just do one Friday night after the cuts. The Friday night rolled around and we went, wait a minute. The final cuts aren't until Saturday at 4. So we're like, okay, we'll do one Saturday night after all the cuts. And then by the time that rolled around, we're like, let's just go ahead and do it Sunday like we normally do. So
yeah.
We're going to put this one out a little bit earlier. We're not going to save it till Monday morning. So just go ahead and have it out so everybody can enjoy it for your Memorial Day.
Labor Day
vacation. I always get those two confused. Memorial Day, Labor Day.
Memorial Day is first.
There's too many holidays. That's all I know.
Said no one ever. Ralph doesn't even like his birthday.
Hey, man, I got stuff to do. We sitting around celebrating life. There's life to be lived. The game was pretty good. It was pretty much how we called it, how everybody said it was going to be. There was no starters played except Noah Spence, who, come to find out, is not on the team anymore. But they had him out there, and as soon as I saw him out there, I was like, oh, God, if he doesn't ball out, he's getting cut. And he didn't ball out, so cut it was. It was a shocker. It was a surprise, only in the sense that I thought he was going to make the team and do really good this year, but the last 3 preseason games, they kept him out there almost the whole games, and he didn't do anything. He didn't play bad. He just didn't do anything. So, we gave Cutter and Buckner a hard time for not starting him the past couple years. I guess there was something to it. The guy's doesn't have his heart into football or something.
Maybe Joe Bucs fan will come out with it finally because they said that they knew what it was.
They always have these teaser things, and then it seems like they never get satisfied with them. They never tell you the juice.
Up.
We'll see, though. I'd love to find out. I'd love to know what happened with him.
And he was given every opportunity this preseason.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was for the past 2 years. They kept him out there in preseason.
Maybe he just chokes. Maybe he can't handle the pressure.
Well, it's funny because I was raving about David Kinney, Mazzy Wilkins, Noah Spence. They all got cut.
I know. No one's going to trust your judgment anymore.
Hey, that's how the cookie crumbles. I still think Mazzy's a good player. He's definitely a hit-or-miss kind of guy. He makes plays, and then he makes dumb plays. I think Kinney's the same way. I'm actually surprised somebody hasn't picked him up on a 4-3 defense right now. We'll see. I think he'll get picked up. But he just couldn't cover. He could not play coverage. He had 3 broken down. He went into coverage 3 times that I saw, and all 3 times he messed up.
And at that point, you're a liability.
Yes. So I totally understand why they would cut him. But, a 4-3 defense that needs a good edge rusher, he would be good. He'd be good. If nothing else, he'd be good as a rotational guy.
Right. Some depth.
Yeah. But he didn't do anything. He got out there. He needed to come out. And Bruce Arians said that. I want these guys to play so that I can't cut them.
And you saw the ones that really took that to heart and showed up, and then the guys who didn't.
David Kenny was one of them.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
Noah Spence was one of them. On the flip side of that, the ones that did show up, Pat O'Connor, who earned himself a roster spot, played really well.
Yep, Jack Sitchie.
Greg Allman had a tweet today clarifying that, how to pronounce it. He said, some people are making it sound like peachy. That's not right. It rhymes with itchy.
Oh.
Sitchy.
My apologies, Greg. It's Sitchy?
You should apologize to Jack. Yeah, Sitchy.
Like itchy. You got an itch?
Yes.
Itchy?
Sitchy. Yes. Where would we be without Greg?
Tanner Hudson, of course, showed up again. That guy, he's going to be a great asset to this team. I really, really, really hope, and I'm seeing it in the preseason, didn't see it much Friday night, but these 3 tight end sets, I think we could do some really crazy stuff on this. I have never seen a team with this many good tight ends on them.
Okay, but can you explain to me Anthony Auclair?
No.
I do not understand why he's still on the team.
Maybe he's the best blocker. I don't know.
That must be it, but all I can recall from last season is that he couldn't catch anything, and he was good for at least 1 penalty a game.
Well, you should send a note to BA. Say, hey.
What is it with this guy? So I was surprised that he made the team, that he was still here.
I was a little surprised too, but I don't think they want so many rookies. I mean, we are the second youngest team in the league right now.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that'll change once, everybody starts shuffling players around and picking up guys and adding them to the team and cutting guys. But yeah, we're the second youngest, right behind Philadelphia. No, Miami.
Miami.
Which I picked up the Ravens defense in fantasy football just because they're playing Miami week 1. That's going to be a slaughter.
They named Fitz as the starter, starting quarterback. And they traded Kenny Stills to the Texans, which is hilarious. He's the one that was speaking out, criticizing the owner on Twitter. It's how you lose your job, buddy.
I guess the owner of the Texans was like, hey, you could come criticize me.
Right.
The game was interesting. I think we pretty much controlled it. Their defensive line played well. Other than that, they didn't do anything. I think we pretty much had the game under control the whole time. I really liked they had the ball with about a minute left, and they were down by 2. So if they would have gotten field goal range, they would have won the game, and we stopped them. Of course, it did help that they got 3 penalties back to back. It
was like a 3rd and 40.
3rd and 20 with 4 seconds left. But it's good because it's been so long since we've had that where we had a defense that could stop an offense.
Right. It was like we would be up and the offense would come back and score, get us into the lead, and then the defense would get back on the field and you just knew we were going to lose it in that last 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think it was with the Falcons, the first game last year, where they drove down the field in 4 plays and scored on us with like a minute left. It was ridiculous. We had way too much of that. I don't think we're going to have that anymore. I mean, just these guys, even our 3rd and 4th string defenses, players were playing better than our 1st string defenses were playing last year. Our 3rd and 4th string guys were bringing pressure, getting sacks, getting tackles for loss, getting tackles. Our team's tackling.
Yeah. Good
to see that. I did see Bunting, number 26, played just like Brent Grimes for a couple of plays. And I even comment, I said, did we have Brent Grimes back out on the field? Because he would line up and then he would just backpedal before the snap of the ball till he was 15 yards away from the line of scrimmage. The receiver would just run up 10 yards, turn around and catch the ball. It's like, man, Bunting, do not watch that Grimes game film. It was a good game, though. It was very entertaining. I like it because it's more, now I like strategy, but with football, to me, it's more about the one-on-one matchups, beating your guy, tackling and blocking. And to me, that's what the 4th preseason game is, because they dumb it down. These guys, we had Testaverde in there.
Who came in that week.
Came in a few days before. So, we just had the vanilla plays. We ran jumbo sets. We ran pass plays out of jumbo sets, which was pretty interesting. But everything was very vanilla compared to what it's going to be during the preseason. But you get to see the Jimmies and Joes, the guys going up against each other, more than you get to see the strategy between the coordinators. So I enjoy that. And I saw some good stuff. There's some good stuff out there. But Barrett played well. again. Shaq Barrett's going to be our start. He's taking Noah Spence's place.
I know. That was good to see. Not that Noah Spence got cut, but just that Shaq Barrett, when we signed him, he said, I came here to take somebody's job.
He took it.
And he did.
He deserved it,
fair
too.
and square.
Yeah,
he looks phenomenal. I'm very excited about him.
Yes, he has played great. And when you go out there in the fourth preseason game, you're going up against third and fourth stringers. Noah Spence should have ate those guys up. He didn't do anything. Barrett ate him up.
I will say the offense is a little different than it was last year, and I don't know if they're just playing so vanilla, but it doesn't feel like we're as high flying as we were last year.
I see what you're saying, yeah. Well,
we're not chunking it as much, I feel like.
No.
And it could have been because Mike Evans isn't on the field.
That's a large part of it. And also because our first stringers weren't out there a whole lot. But, we're not going to be chunking it down the field like we were with Cutter's offense. Cutter it'd be 1st and 5, and he's throwing 15, 20-yard passes. All the routes were 15, 20 yards downfield. We're not going to have that. BA has that ladder system where he's got almost every route play. He's got a short yardage guy, medium guy, and a long guy. Minimum. We didn't have that a whole lot with Cutter. Cutter, it was a lot of downfield stuff. Now, we're going to get a lot of downfield balls for sure, but it's not going to be like every play.
Right.
It's going to be a lot of check downs, a lot of stuff to the flats, short stuff over the middle, slants. We're going to get a big mix of everything. Speaking of slants, I can't believe we kept Scotty Miller over Snell. Really surprised me.
I know, me too.
Snell balled out. He balled out in that first game, and he balled out in this fourth preseason game.
It almost feels like they are forcing it a little bit with Scotty Miller.
That's how I feel. Maybe he must practice well, or
maybe they think that they can develop him.
The Schnell looks like he plays with heart. That one run he had, he picked up like 30 yards after the catch, and he had guys all over him, and he was twisting. Came out, the announcers even started talking like he was down, and he kept on going. And Scotty Miller that showed nothing to me.
At all. And I don't feel like Justin Watson really has either. I know he has a little bit of the veteran presence. He's been here a couple years, but...
Yeah, but there wasn't somebody behind him to replace him, where you could say, this guy outperformed. I felt like Snell outperformed Scotty Miller. Just in a little bit that I saw Scotty Miller. Matter of fact, some of the stuff I saw with Scotty Miller, I didn't like. Now, he's a short guy, very small. And he had Testaverde throw into him, and I don't know how much chemistry they got to each other, but Scotty Miller's got a small radius. He can only jump it so high.
He's like Vita Vea. 3 inches, that's all you got.
And he's hard to hit in stride, I would imagine, because it's just such a small window. But he threw it, and Scotty Miller jumped up in the air. And it kind of like glanced off of him for an interception. And I didn't like that. I was like, why are you jumping? I think they got on him in practice for that because he has a habit of jumping in the air when the ball's coming at him. I don't know. We'll see. And plus, I haven't seen him have any really good contact either. We talked about that. In college, we saw a lot of highlights of him, but didn't see him doing a lot of breaking tackles and getting hit a lot. It was basically just him catching the ball and running.
Right, and I think that might be his only upside is his speed. But we haven't really seen it.
No, we haven't seen anything from him.
It's kind of irrelevant if he can't catch the ball.
This is true. Testaverde threw some bad passes out there, but that's...
You expected that. He's got to be rusty, just kind of sitting around waiting for somebody to call him. And he knew he was just a rental, I think, at that point, too.
Yeah, a rental.
A rental.
$29.95 a day. U-Haul truck. Jamal Dean had some good stuff out there. He had that one where the Cowboys threw the red flag. Jason Garrett said it was pass interference, so they reviewed it. And at first, the announcers, which I got to say, this announcer sucked. We'll get to that in a second. But they were all like, "Oh, he was all over, Jamal, the Buccaneers. It should be pass interference and everything." But then when they showed it in a replay, they were all like, "Oh, that was really good. That was a good pass defense." They just shut up. They were like, "Oh, it really was." He turned his head to look for the ball.
The receiver wasn't even looking at the ball.
Yeah, and then he just climbed up on the receiver. It was like, yeah, that's exactly how you do it. Yeah, he had some good pass defenses, good coverage. Bunting hasn't showed me anything.
At all.
Actually, the exact opposite. He's looked pretty bad, if you ask me.
On the depth chart now, he is right behind Vernon Hargreaves and in front of MJ Stewart.
That's nuts.
That surprises me, too.
Man, I don't know. Maybe there's something there we're not seeing. But yeah, those announcers, that game was hard to watch. I think we turned the sound off because it was just all they weren't even talking about the game. They were just sitting there circle jerking each other and
I know.
being all.
It sounded like a bunch of old men in assisted living. Reliving their glory days.
That's sad. That's pretty much what it was.
It was. Am I wrong?
No. It was so annoying though because they wouldn't replay any of the plays.
They weren't even talking about the plays. Like the referee is on the field saying what a penalty is. They don't even have it panned to him. They have it panned to the broadcast booth, and you just hear those idiots talking.
I know. I'm sitting there going, why are we watching the broadcast booth? I mean, they must have spent 15 minutes showing in the broadcast booth.
And then another 20 of Dallas players on the sideline giving interviews.
Yeah,
Jason Witten, Malik Collins.
Right.
And then there was a former player that was down on the sidelines.
It was miserable.
It was hard to get through.
It was hard to get through.
Bad. Even the condensed version, we've rewatched the game twice, and there will be some extended clips. Like, they cut out most of the bullshit, but you do kind of get a little bit of the interview, so that was just irritating. I think one of the broadcasts, it wasn't ours, got BA cussing on the broadcast, on the live broadcast.
Did they?
Yeah, Jenna Lane tweeted about it, and they had to apologize like right after the broadcasters did.
That's funny. Who is number 22? Is that Harris?
Yeah, Devontae Harris.
Devontae Harris or
Devontae. He got cut.
He got cut. He had a good game.
I thought so too. I was surprised that he got cut, especially in favor of, he's a safety, right? What was he? Corner, right?
Corner.
Yeah. So they cut him, but they kept like Sean Murphy Bunting or MJ Stewart even. I thought he outplayed MJ Stewart.
But then again, you got to remember he's going up against the third and fourth stringers, so, you know.
Right, but you didn't see Sean Murphy Bunting showing up against him.
No, this is true. This is true. I didn't see Bunting do anything all preseason.
At all.
That was good. Saw him do plenty of screw-ups.
Yeah. I get, though, when you invest, was he, a third or second? No, he's the second. So I get that.
39th overall.
Yeah. I mean, I get why they want to keep him, but...
Yeah.
Still, it's just unfortunate that you have someone else who showed up in the game and they get cut.
Mazzy Wilkins, number 37, had all Teeth Candy's number. Like I said, he's hit or miss. He had some really good plays, and then he had some really bad plays against Dallas. He had that one penalty for hitting the quarterback out of bounds, which you know BA just hates that. And he had a penalty against the Miami Dolphins, something similar, personal foul.
Yeah, that really cost us, too.
Mm-hmm. And then he missed a tackle for a loss a couple plays earlier, right before the penalty happened. I mean, he had that guy dead to his rights in the backfield, missed him. And then he had the missed tackle against 83, the wide receiver, that ended up going like 80 yards for a touchdown. But I mean, that guy did some really good running.
And I think there were like 3 Bucs players that missed too.
Right, but Mazzy was the first one. He got there, tried to wrap the guy up, and then just slid right off. And well, one thing I didn't like in both of those, the one where he missed the tackle for the loss and the one where he missed the receiver for the 80-yard touchdown, after he got up, he just kind of jogged after the guy, didn't run real hard. They don't like to see that. Both times, he just kind of got up, kind of like he was pouting almost, just kind of like, oh, man. He should have been chasing them guys down hard to make up for that. But then he had a great tackle in the fourth quarter, 8:15. I think it was a tackle for a loss. And I think he had a batted pass in the second quarter. So, I mean, the guy makes good plays, but then has those brain farts and makes bad plays. So, anyhow, he's on the practice squad now. We cut him on the practice squad. We're going to talk about that. David Kinney did not make it to the practice squad, and I'm surprised nobody's picked him up yet. We'll see. Oh, you know what? I forgot all about this. Before we get going any further, I got a follow-up. It's been so long, I forgot all about it. We were talking about The Blind Side, the movie. And we talked about Michael Orr. He is the guy who the movie was about. He played for the Ravens. He also played for the Panthers and the Titans. And you had said that he didn't like the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did a bunch of research on this, found some fascinating stuff out. Now, Michael Orr had a great first year, but not good after that. It's like when the movie came out, he became like a celebrity. And he said it ruined his game. He ruined his game. He said that movie ruined his career. He was cut by the Titans this year into a 4-year, $20 million contract. He had this to say about the movie. He said, "I'm not trying to prove anything. People look at me and they take things away from me because of a movie. they don't really see the skills and the kind of player I am. That's why I get downgraded so much, because of something off the field. This stuff, calling me a bust, people saying if I can play or not, that has nothing to do with football. It's something else off the field. That's why I don't like that movie. He penned an autobiography in 2011 called I Beat the Odds, From Homelessness to the Blind Side and Beyond. And dissatisfied with how the blind side portrayed him in his upbringing, Orr took to the pen and pad for his autobiography, and he aimed to right many of the supposed inconsistencies of the film and to fill in any gaps that might have been left in his story. In the book, he gives a more thorough look into his childhood, corrects some misconceptions about the film, and expands some on the stories of the film that left unresolved. But yeah, he hated the movie. Not so much because of the content of the movie, but what it did to his career. He felt like people were watching him. He did a whole bunch of interviews about it, but he said offensive linemen don't get watched. But he got watched. He said every game he played, people would come up to him and be like, talking about the movie. And he was like, he'd go to a team and everybody would talk to him about the movie. And he's like, look, I'm here to play football, not the movie. And he said that he got a lot of scrutiny because of that movie. He's like, I'm an offensive lineman. Nobody cares about offensive linemen. But because I was in that movie, everybody can't stop talking about me. He's like, offensive linemen, we're not built to have attention like this. So I found it very fascinating.
Well, I don't blame the movie so much as I would him.
Yeah, a little thin skin.
Yeah, that's a character flaw to me.
Yeah, and it could be an excuse for not playing well, too. He's supposedly still friends with Sandra Bullock, who played his adopted mother in the movie. Apparently, she followed him around from team to team and went to his games and supported him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's kind of weird if you ask me.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's what you get out of the movie, is a friendship with Sandra Bullock, can't be all bad.
I wouldn't be mad. All right, so anyhow, that's the follow-up and fact checks.
Okay. We got that out of the way.
Got it out of the way. It was very interesting. I have to watch that movie one day. If there's some football in it. I don't want it to be, a lot of these movies are stories and then a little bit of football. I like the movies that are like football, football, football. Of course, if it was up to me, it'd be football, football, football every day, all the time, about everything.
Just watch football then, don't watch movies.
Well, when I watch movies, I want to watch movies about football. So we had players get cut. We're down to our 53-man roster.
All right, so let's go through the cuts and pull out maybe the surprise ones or upsetting ones. And we also put JPP on the non-football injury list.
That's right.
So that means that he can't come back, I think, until week 6. But it's on track with what they said initially, October, November.
A tree called this, right? He did the video, a really good video. If you haven't checked it out, he's got a video where he really breaks down the injury to JPP, and he's been almost spot on with all of his stuff here about what's going to happen with JPP. But with this, placing him on non-football injury list, we'll put that, we'll retweet Tree's video. Molly will. She's in charge of all that. But with putting him on the non-football injury list, we don't have to pay him for the games he misses.
Right.
So we're saving a few $1 million.
They can pay him if they want to.
Really?
Yeah.
So are they going to be jerks and not pay him?
I don't know. Would you pay him?
No.
I don't think so either.
Well, I don't know. If you expect him to come back and play hard, you probably want to pay him.
Which, he's got a baby coming in October.
Oh, well, congratulations, JPP.
Yeah. So the baby will be born right when he's about to come back to the field.
He's going to be like, please, get me out of this house. I'm going to go hit somebody. So he's going to be back October?
October, November. I think
Week
late
7?
October.
Week 7 is the first time he can come back, or is it week 8?
I think so.
Okay.
With the NFI thing,
right.
I think it's like week 7 or week 8. But as far as the injury goes, I don't know when he'll be ready. Ryan Smith was put on reserve. He's suspended by the commissioner.
Right.
So.
PEDs, right?
Yes. Cairo Santos. Okay, so Matt Gay wins the kicking battle. I think everyone kind of saw that coming. But we were hanging on to Cairo, reportedly trying to deal him, but I guess nobody bit. So he'll be picked up immediately.
Probably.
There's a lot of teams having kicker troubles. Our running back situation, we're only keeping 3 running backs.
That really surprised me.
Me too. We released Andre Ellington and Bruce Anderson, and then we brought Bruce Anderson back to the practice squad.
I figured Andre Ellington wasn't going to make it because he just cannot pass protect at all.
No, that year out of the league did not do him any favors.
He was great with catching passes and running.
But he had a fumble, too.
Yeah, he had a fumble. So we've got 3 running backs, which is very strange. We might be saving a spot for, free agent running back. We've talked about, so we might just get another running back to put on there. Who knows?
But now as it stands, it's Peyton Barber, Rojo, and then Dare.
Which Dare has a real possibility of moving up on that depth chart.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so, too.
We're keeping 4 quarterbacks. Jameis Winston, Blaine Gabbert, Ryan Griffin, and Nick Fitzgerald.
But he's on the practice squad.
He was put on the practice squad.
2 surprises in the secondary. Isaiah Johnson was waived, who was with us last season. He played okay last game, I thought. And Kentrell Bryce, who was a free agent we signed from Green Bay. So he didn't make it. It was kind of that veteran presence in the secondary that we thought he was going to add, but he didn't really show up, I didn't think, in the preseason.
I didn't like him on film with Green Bay, but I chalked it up to Green Bay was just a shit show last year, so maybe it was the coordinator issue, but he had way too many bad plays for me.
I didn't even notice him. John Battle, another safety. We waived him, but he made it back onto the practice squad.
Bruce Anderson, running back, he was waived, but put back on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Which surprised me. I thought he was going to be our 4th running back, especially because he performed in the game against Dallas.
Yeah, I really liked what I saw then. But I think Greg Allman had a tweet about how we've brought a lot of guys up from the practice squad who are now starters. So it's not like they're just going to be on the practice squad and their career ends.
Right.
We also traded with the Pittsburgh Steelers for a tackle, Gerald
Hawkins. Yes, I went back and I watched as much footage as I could from him during the regular season. He only played with Pittsburgh in 2017. I mean, he was with the team last year too, but he never made the field. But he played in 2017. He started 1 game, but it was really weird. He started the game, but he didn't really play in it. He was just in on jumbo packages. I don't know what that was all about. They had him listed as a starter, though. But he only showed up in, I think, 5 or 6 games in 2017, and only in one of them did he have more than 20% of the snaps. So
not a whole lot of playing time.
No. And from what I did see of him, I was like, wasn't too impressed. But then again, like I said, he was playing out of position. He was in the jumbo packages. And
was he better than Donovan Smith?
I never got a chance to see him play in left tackle. Now, he played against us week 1 in preseason. I'm going to go back and watch that and see if I can get any information out of it.
Well, that's where he's listed as right behind Donovan Smith.
We couldn't find anybody to back up Donovan Smith.
I guess not. Yeah, Cole Boozer got the boot. Deservedly so, I thought.
I was surprised that we got rid of Brock Rubel, Laribus, and
Poles.
Yeah.
Was another one.
I mean, they played pretty decent.
And none of them made it to the practice squad either. Nate Traywin, who was listed at center, we did bring him back to the practice squad. But none of the other depth.
Yes, of all of them, I never would have said Traywin.
Right, exactly. Well, I wonder if they did it because center is the only position where we don't have a backup. Donovan Smith is being backed up by Gerald Hawkins. Ali Marpet is being backed up by Zach Bailey. Alex Kappa has Earl Watford, and DeMar Dotson has Caleb Beninock. But we have a hole there at center, so maybe it's just a contingent in case that becomes an issue.
Well, we know Ali Marpet can play center if need be, although he can't play it very well. I mean, not that he can't block from center, but
right, like
those snaps to Jameis Winston that year with Ali Marpet were atrocious. I think there was like 6 fumbled snaps between them.
And I think mid-game, if Ryan Jensen were to ever go down, you can have Ali Marpet finish the game,
right.
Zach Bailey come in, and then you bring up Traywin from the practice squad.
Right.
If it's a long-term thing.
Zach Bailey played well during the preseason.
Yeah, I liked him. Our wide receiver situation, we've got Mike Evans backed up by Rashad Perryman and Bobo Wilson. I was on the fence about Bobo. Mm-hmm. He's now going to be our kick and punt returner.
Yeah, he's the only one that showed anything in kick and punt returns.
Yeah.
So we had to keep him, I guess.
I guess so.
Then we got Chris Godwin, Justin Watson, and Scotty Miller.
I just don't get that.
Yeah, the Scotty Miller thing. There's got to be something there we haven't seen.
Maybe.
On defense, on our defensive line, we got Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea, and William Golston are the starters. Backing them up is Raheem Nunez Roches, a.k.a. Nacho. Behind Vita Vea is Bo Allen. And then behind William Golston is Patrick O'Connor.
I felt like he was one of those that showed something so that he couldn't be cut. Like, I was really impressed with him week 4.
He played well week 4, but he's played well all preseason.
Yeah, been pretty consistent.
What happened to Ledbetter?
cut
When did we cut him?
Saturday. He was injured.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so we might give him an injury settlement and then bring him back later. He played pretty well for his snaps.
What did you think about Anthony Nelson? He's backing up Carl Nassib. I don't remember really seeing him.
He popped a little bit.
He did?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we've got on the other side Shaq Barrett and Damone Harris, which both Harrises, Damone and Devontae, I thought played well. Devontae didn't make it, but...
Yeah, I was surprised Devontae didn't make it. But yes, both Harrises played well. Shaquille Barrett definitely deserved his spot there, taking it from Noah Spence.
And then with the inside linebackers, no surprise, we've got Devin White and Levante starting. Kevin Minter, Jack Sitchie behind Devin White, and then Dayon Buchanan and Devontae Bond behind Levante.
Our linebacking core, our inside linebackers, are definitely stacked. I mean, those guys, all of them are good. Devin White, Levante David, Kevin Minter, Dayon Buchanan, Jack Sitchie, and Devontae Bond. Those guys just ball out.
I know.
So
they were lighting it up.
Yeah, Kevin Minter and Jack Sitchie and Devontae Bond really played well during the preseason.
The secondary at corner, we've got Carlton Davis and Vernon Hargreaves starting. And then Carlton Davis is backed up by Jamel Dean. Vernon Hargreaves backed up by Sean Murphy-Bunting and MJ Stewart.
Now, Jamal Dean, he really impressed me.
Yeah, for me, he was injured, right?
Yeah, he didn't play the first game.
He didn't really show up till like the third game. That's because he wasn't in. But he played well once he got back out there.
Very well. Very surprised. I am so happy with our defense. You see these guys in coverage, they're sticking to their man. They're looking at the football. They're making tackles. Seeing a lot of man press coverage. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm excited.
I am too. And then at safety, we've got Mike Edwards and Jordan Whitehead starting. Edwards is backed up by Darian Stewart, and then Justin Evans is backing up Jordan Whitehead.
Now, Jordan Whitehead and Darian Stewart showed up in the preseason. Mike Edwards, I didn't see a thing from him.
Was he even playing? That's what I was going to ask you. I thought, again, like Jamel Dean, was he injured? I don't remember. I just don't remember even noticing him.
Yeah, he only played 11 snaps this preseason. They were all in week 1.
I think that he's battled some injury issues.
And they're going to make him a rookie starter with 11 preseason snaps. We'll see how that works out. Interesting. I didn't know I thought he played in more than that.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. Now you know.
Now we know.
We do have a lot of young guys on our team, and we have a lot of starters on our team. But one thing we do have, and I love this, 28 of our 53 initial players right now were drafted by the Buccaneers.
Wow.
Homegrown team. I love that. I love it, love it, love it.
That's more than half.
Very good.
Shut up.
I'm a big fan of drafting players, developing them, keeping them on your team. Let them be the only team they know is the Buccaneers. I think that's great. That's the way to do it. I'm not a big fan of free agents. You get guys, every now and then it's good. You want to get a player like a Sue or a
Vincent Jackson.
Yeah, we needed the receivers at the time. So, every now and then it's good to plug a hole, or if there's a guy you just know is going to be great, you want him on your team, or for character issues, whatever. It's okay, but I can't stand teams that, and we were doing that a lot. We started doing that where we were just filling our starting positions with a bunch of free agents, and I'm like, no, don't like that.
Well, we did have a lot of cap space too.
That's probably why we have 28 guys starting for us that were drafted.
Ran out of money.
Yeah, so if you look at our actual starters, we've got we've only got 2 rookies as actual starters, both on defense.
That's Mike Edwards and Devin White.
So I like that. I like that we are not just young, we're drafted, homegrown. I mean, the whole being the youngest could change, like I said. But hopefully these guys will learn from Ndamukong Suh how to shove quarterbacks after they throw the pass and get fined. Sounds like they're following in his footsteps already. Ndamukong Suh got fined like $22,000 for his push against, was it Mayfield?
No, it was Mayfield.
And then
Damone Harris was fined about $21,000 for hitting the Dolphins quarterback. That's per Greg Auman.
All right, so Sue's teaching them something.
Yeah. No kidding.
That's what the veterans are there for.
Right.
Teach them how to get fines.
Well, the veterans also have the money to spare because they've got all these big contracts by that point.
Yeah, so Sue got fined basically 0.2% of his salary. That was a horrible fine, if you ask me. I mean, he just pushed the guy. It wasn't even a hard push.
And then what about that guy that hit Jameis?
Right.
On the Browns?
Yeah, just elbows Jameis to the ground in the back of the head after he got sandwiched.
And they didn't even flag it.
They didn't even flag him. These refs. Who was it? Oh, yeah, B.A. was talking about the referees. He said, I'm beginning to second guess my opinion that we shouldn't have 4 preseason games. We should probably have 6 so these refs can get the extra practice in. Yeah, he really tore into them. That was funny. He was like, these guys are horrible.
I love seeing him lose it on the sideline, except for he turns really red, and I am a little worried about him having a heart attack right there.
That would be so devastating.
I know.
Don't even think that. See? Positive thoughts, man. Positive thoughts. Yeah, I'm really excited. There's no question in my mind that we are going to beat the 49ers. No question whatsoever. I think it's going to be a good test for our offensive line, and what they need to start the season off getting their butts whooped. Hopefully Jameis won't get happy feet so early in the year, but our defense is just I think we're going to have quite a few turnovers. They're not going to get a lot of yardage. They ain't going to score a whole lot. I'm excited.
I'm really excited. So Wednesday, we'll have our first injury report, and I think the depth chart.
Right, the official depth chart.
Yeah.
And Wednesday's podcast, we'll have the game preview, or we're going to do that Friday?
We'll probably do that Friday.
Okay. So Friday, we'll have the game preview for the 49ers. A lot of good storylines there. The best storyline is going to be us whooping their butts.
Absolutely.
Matt Gay needs to start kicking. I want to see him get 60-yard field goals every game so I can get them fantasy points, yo. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. Until next time.
Go Bucs.